Another glorious late autumn day. We are back at the winery. It's been a couple of months since the harvest. We have a few things to do, I've noticed. So with the weather changing, we've got the conditions in the cellar, which are also changing. So we're gonna have to get on top of the humidity and the temperature first. Then also today, we've got something special arriving, the third thing, an amphora. And finally, we are also going to do some tests on the wine to see if the second fermentation is underway or not. So come and join me, let's take a look. I've literally gone within a couple of days from, I think there was a few days of 20 degrees, and now today it's midday and it's 2 degrees outside. What that's meant in here is that we've had like a buildup of humidity, and on the walls we've got cellar mold, black mold growing. It's perfectly normal for cellars, it's just there's probably a bit too much. So I'm just going around and a bit of a boring job, but just wiping it down. I've also put a dehumidifier in here as well, because I can feel the humidity. It's probably a little bit too much. We need quite a humid environment, about 80%, but this is more like maybe 90, it's quite tropical. So I'm just going around wiping everything off the wall, and then hopefully with the dehumidifier, the levels be a bit better going forwards. The reason why this is important is because we are trying to make very high quality wines and what we call like terroir wines, so wines that are very representative of the place where the grapes were grown. So we really don't want anything external beyond the kind of natural yeasts and some of the natural bacteria from getting into the wine. In the worst instance, they could spoil it and lead to a kind of almost like slightly damp taste in the wine, or a potentially turning it to like vinegar, or it might just kind of raise what we call like the volatile acidity levels and give it a small kind of smell of maybe nail polish remover or something like that. So nothing particularly pleasant. Like I said, it's not necessarily an issue in and of itself to have black mold in cellars. It's called cellar mold, and it's usually a pretty good sign. It's just, as with anything, it's about balance, and you don't want too much. And, I just felt like coming in here, with this kind of very tropical, like 90% humidity feeling, and seeing, really a lot on the walls and on the ceilings, that it was just getting a bit out of hand. So I think it's best just to wipe it off, get this dehumidifier in, and give us a sort of consistent conditions in here. That's what's just come off the walls there. Now that we've removed all of that moisture and mold. How much would I have to pay you to drink that? Not very nice. So we are now taking our samples. So we're going to take them to the lab to see if everything is moving as it should for the second fermentation or not yet. Pretty simple job. You just take the lid off. Then we have our trusty sampler and this bottle here. And what we're going to do is just probably fill this about halfway full. This, so that we can get a really good sample, so that they've got a big enough amount of volume to actually get the proper results. Oui, bonjour, c'est EARL Les Valades. Je voulais savoir où est le transporteur, parce qu'il a dit qu'il sera là entre 11h et 11h30, mais je lui attends encore.
Vous êtes sur quelle commune?
Saint-Cyr-de-Canès. Donc the platform's broken, so usually we would lower this down, but obviously we can't, and I don't have a forklift. It's 53 kilos, so we're going to have to get it out by hand, I think. T'as pas? Je peux aller en chercher un si tu veux, si besoin. Bon, c'est bon, je l'ai. Tu l'as aussi? Bon, très bien. Bon, on les garde comme ça. qui nous guide, Laura. Super. Non, c'est bon. For those of you who are into wine, and I suggest this is probably quite a lot of you, I'd imagine, you'll know that this is called an amphora. This is basically pottery. It's made a couple of hours away from here in the Limousin region of France, and it's fired clay. And it's basically the modern equivalent of the first ever wine vessels, which are those clay amphoras that you see in kind of depictions of like Roman life and ancient Greek life and stuff like that. And you must be thinking that I'm absolutely mad to have got this and how fragile it is, given you will have all seen how challenging it is, you know, just making wine, and then to add something like this into the mix seems pretty crazy. The difference with steel and with tanks, the steel and glass, is that steel and glass are completely what we call like hermetically sealed. So there's absolutely zero oxygen that can get into the wine with these at all. Whereas with this, it's completely watertight, but because it's a natural product and it's clay, it's ever so slightly porous. So a tiny amount of oxygen over the next year is going to get into the wine here, and it's going to change it. It will soften it, it will round it out, it will add some very, very delicate new aromas in there as well, or more accurately, it will change some of the aromas a little bit. And the idea is that mixed together, they're going to be really, really cool, I would hope. With everything now in a good position with the wines, I think that we're ready pretty much to fill La Morelle up with this just before Christmas, and give it a good year of having all that wonderful oxygen transfer that you get from these vessels. So with winter closing in and the temperatures dropping, we need to quickly complete the second fermentation, something called the malolactic fermentation. So this is quite technical, but as I've always said, when you're making wine, there's two fermentations that happen. The first one is the one that we all know about, where the sugars in the grapes get transformed by the yeast into alcohol. And the second one is when the lactic acid bacteria that are in the wine eat the malic acid that's in the wine and turn it to lactic acid. So a really important step, in particular in red wine making and also some white wine making, because it rounds out the wine, it slightly changes the aroma and it makes it more stable. You know, if you were to taste our wines now, you'd think, you know, they're delicious, but the acidity would be quite kind of jarring and it might feel a little bit sort of harsh on the palate. With the malolactic fermentation, what's going to happen is that that's going to become much softer, much rounder, and it's going to taste much more like a finished wine. So the key thing is with malolactic fermentation is that it needs temperature to happen. It won't happen below 19 degrees Celsius. So where we're up to now is that it hasn't happened, so we're going to have to just gently intervene just to raise the temperature in the cellar and make sure that it finishes off nice and quickly. What we're going to do, as I said, because the malolactic fermentation hasn't finished, is that we're going to put these heaters, if you can see that, into the wine to warm it up. So they're thermostatic, so you can set the temperature. So you can see there it's set to 21 degrees. And basically what it's going to do is it's just going to hang in the wine like that and maintain it at a steady 20, 21 degrees. And ultimately, that's what's going to allow the lactic acid bacteria to do their thing. So we're taping the wire to the side of the tank because with the heaters, they can't touch the bottom. otherwise it will cause them to trip and misread the temperature, because obviously they'll be touching steel instead of the wine. So I'm just taping it to the side so that it keeps it hanging in the wine at the right depth, and it doesn't accidentally fall to the bottom. So with putting the heaters in, I've taken the chance to just give the lid a bit of a disinfection. It's been a few months since it was disinfected before we put the wine in it, so not strictly necessary, but as always, super important to keep on top of the hygiene and just make everything as clean as is humanly possible. Let's go, one of the final jobs. Look at this. This is potassium bisulfate, Bactol, 10% dilution. This is sulfites. You know, when people talk about sulfites in wine, that's kind of what it looks like, basically. This isn't going to go in the wine. This is for the little valves that lock the air out of our glass globes that we have. So it doesn't come in contact with the wine, it's not going to enter it at all, but it basically creates a barrier between the outside world and the wine, and it stops any air from getting in. So we've got to be careful and just gently release it like this, and try and stop anything that's on the rim from getting in. Now, very quickly, what we're going to go and do is get rid of the old stuff that's in there, fill it up, and bring it back in again. Give it a little wipe whilst we can, make sure everything's clean. So that's us done after a big day in the winery. Not a day that we expected, having to clean everything down because of a bit too much of that cellar mold. Again, it's perfectly safe, we want to keep things nice and clean. Here we go, this is the P globe, that's the press of Les Morels, so that's the pressed juice. This is our little overflow of Les Morels, right down here. So what's going to happen is that these two glass jars, the press and the overflow, are going to go in here, and that's going to be one cuvée, Les Morels, all from the same parcel of vines. We have our lovely little experiment 1 and 2 over here. So gastronomic rosé, 1, 2. So it looks quite dark there, but it's kind of in between a red wine and a rosé, really fun, fruity, light, which is great. And then the wonderful, fine, fresh, beautiful Les Valades. It's a really incredible nose to it, almost smells like Syrah. So this is gonna be 1 cuvée as well, and it's all in there now, ready to go. So La Morelle, Les Valades, not sure, could be 6 months to 12 months before they come out. Our little rosé friends, hoping to get them out in April, ready for the summer. So yeah, I think it's a good job in the end. So yeah, I think time now to just go decompress a bit, pick up a pizza, maybe have a glass of wine. It's really important to recharge as well, because it's just so full on. Every day's very new. We'll wake up tomorrow and I'm sure that the vineyard and the winery will have something new for us to do. So yeah, time to recharge the batteries, get some rest, and go again tomorrow.